Hey everybody, good morning from the Each One Reach One group. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday morning. It might be a morning of softball, baseball tournaments or vacation, or maybe you got to sleep in this morning. Whatever it was, I hope it was a really great day. Hey, I'm going to wait just a little bit before I jump right in, but I don't want to wait too long because I do want to honor your time. But we are going to talk about hormones and essential oils this morning. So I hope you've been blessed by this group, and definitely take time to go back and watch a lot of these videos. There's tons and tons of information. Hey Mindy, thank you. I just got my hair done yesterday. So yeah, good stuff. So I am going to go ahead and just let you know a little bit about myself. My name's Jessica, and my husband is a pastor, so we've been in ministry full-time for 12 years together, and both of us had done a little bit more before we got married. So we just love people finding their best for their lives, and so that's been a part of our life for a long time. And for me, I've been working with essential oils for the last almost 3 years, and that to me just fits right in with just loving on people. I want to help learn as much as I can about them and make sure that other people can know as much as they can. So I grew up in a home where we did a lot of things at home. We didn't go to the doctor very often. There are obviously some serious sometimes that we did, but you know, the little normal aches and pains growing up, we did a lot of natural stuff here, and we really tried to do a lot of natural stuff at home as kids to prevent things that would require some other help. So when I first heard about essential oils and realized, hey, they're more than just things that smell good, right? Then I started to learn their health benefits, and I love the part that they've been around for years and years and years. They're not something that's just newly created and all of that. And so it just really resonated with the way that I had been taught for a really long time. So I am not an expert by any means, especially on hormones and using essential oils to help with that. But the thing I love about it is you don't have to be an expert. But we're hoping that these videos would really encourage you and show you that there are other options for overall health, for true health, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second, what true health really is, and also that we would empower you to say, hey, you don't have to know all of it. It's just like you would walk through the grocery store and maybe you don't eat vegetables and fruit very often fresh, and you want to try it. It's not going to harm you. So go ahead and jump in and, you know, try a cauliflower, try a papaya, try a whatever, those kinds of things. And so we want to encourage you to do research and really pay attention and learn to listen to your body. So definitely go back. Claire did a great video, just a kind of an introduction 101 on oils. So be sure that you go back and watch that, and then some other topical things that you want to catch. Okay, so my family and I have a lot of things on our plate today, so I'm going to jump in and get started with sharing today. I know that none of us will wake up in the morning and say like, hey, I'd rather just kind of feel okay today, but instead we want to be thriving, we want to be healthy. Not very many of us say, hey, I want to feel terrible for the rest of my life. I mean, as long as it's not like in bed all day long, I can just survive feeling, mediocre. I think if we were all honest, we want to really be truly healthy. We want to be thriving. We want to have energy. We want to have good moods, ladies, right? And I know for myself, man, it's like you hit a certain number in age, and that is a bigger battle than it used to be. And so I'm sure that age is different for all of us, but I definitely have started to recognize that in myself, and we want to be full of joy, we want to be full of life. And real health goes beyond managing just a bunch of symptoms. And I think that we want to identify areas of our bodies that aren't functioning 100%. We do our research, We look at the root of the illness, and then we support our bodies in healing. It's in the healing process. I'm a true believer that if you support your body, give it what it needs, that it's created, it's an amazing, amazing work of art that can help and heal itself. So we are naturally inclined, though, in our society, especially in the United States, but in a lot of other countries as well. But here in this culture, we are focusing on symptoms, and we feel satisfied as long as the symptoms are gone. Well, symptoms are just our body's way of waving a flag and asking for help. We want to encourage everyone to go beyond just managing symptoms and just slowly make those lifestyle changes to result in true health. It's a process, it's a lifestyle, it's a journey, and it's not something that you get there and then you stop. It's something that I know a couple of my friends that are watching right now, health and nutrition and exercise and the all over health, and that's really my passion anyway, is we don't want to just pick and choose an oil and treat it as if we were just going to take care of symptoms, but instead it's overall health. So what does true health really give us? True health gives us freedom. And when you're truly healthy, you're free to focus on dreams and your purpose. And we all know that just getting a little cold even can throw us off track for at least a few days. So health issues are difficult, and we're going to deal with some of those. But they're difficult to live with. As you know, if you've lived with one, they can become much of a focus of your life. So let's look at some ways that we can move towards truly being healthy. And I promise a lot of these today are, hey Stacy, yeah, real change is just a mindset as to how health works. So yeah, definitely. And I have been on a journey. I've known about nutrition for a long time, but really putting it into practice has been a journey that I've been on for the last several years. So always learning. I love that. So anyway, we're going to look at simple changes that can have a really big impact. I am going to share some look at what are hormones, how do they really affect us. I didn't pay attention in middle school health class. I'll just be honest. So I am learning a lot. And I'm sure they didn't all share all of the details, but I'm learning a lot about that. So let's see. We're going to give you some things to think about. I want to help you get started in doing your own research and give you some great alternatives in products that we use every single day. So we are going to talk about some chemicals for a few minutes, like chemicals in our food, personal care products, environment. They have a huge impact on our health. Taking steps to reduce our exposure to toxins goes a long way in helping us to be healthy. So let's just talk really quick about one of the kind of the dangers of chemicals. Sorry for a second, I can't talk. The cumulative effects on our bodies is huge. There's a Canadian news channel that reported in their show called The Nature of Things, which was all the way back in 2002, that on a typical cleaning day in a typical home, levels of chemicals in the indoor air can be hundreds, even thousands of times higher than the outdoor air in most polluted of cities. So let's imagine, think of the biggest city that you've heard of, the biggest pollution. I mean, it's probably one on the very East Coast or the very West Coast that has millions and millions of cars and people and all that in such a small space. And we think of that as being yeah, we can tell a difference. Maybe you live there, maybe you visit there. And when instead you compare that to the middle of the plains or the middle of the mountains and how fresh you say this air is so fresh. And so what that Canadian news channel said is that a typical cleaning day in a typical home, the levels of chemicals in the air are hundreds and even thousands times higher than that of the most polluted of cities. In fact, indoor air pollution levels would be high enough to trigger an inspection by health and safety authorities in a workplace setting. Many chemicals contained in household cleaning products are the same as those used in industrial settings. So many scientists are now becoming aware of the long-term low-level exposure to chemicals that we may be just as dangerous as the short-term high-dose exposures. They also worry that we don't understand the full impact of exposure to the cocktail of chemicals found in our household and air and dust. Medical science is also beginning to shift a little bit in the way that they look at factors that can cause cancer and other diseases. They mention a term called body burden and just conducting metabolic tests that measure the amounts of over 214 different chemicals that can be found in our bodies. There's so much exposure, guys. I don't know if they've mentioned in this class, but one of my favorite things, well, it's not really fun, but there is an app that you can get to check your stuff that you use every day. So think about it's 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. So a lot of us maybe are getting around a little bit slower than a normal week. And so maybe you just showered, or maybe you just put your deodorant on, or whatever you do. Think about the steps that you use, your toothbrush, all of that kind of stuff. Hey, Mindy. Okay, come back later when you get done. See you later. But think about what you use every single day. Now, pick 2 or 3 of those and look at their ingredient list. Look at the top 3. If you can't pronounce them, if you don't know what they are, Google them and look and see what kinds of things we're exposing ourselves. We just have to be more aware. We are the gatekeepers of our health, and we are the gatekeepers of our home. So again, be sure to take that challenge. Go look at your stuff, because not only does it affect our entire body, but specifically what we're talking about today is affecting our hormones, and it definitely does. And so as we get into this a little bit, we'll see why that's such a big deal. But be sure to watch Claire's 101 video in this group. Each one you could probably search for 101 and it would come up. But she would explain why we turn essential oils and what essential oils are. What are they? And this is always a good reminder, again, because we live in this culture of fixing the symptoms, and that's not what essential oils are. I love the properties of essential oils. They oxygenate the cell, and they support the body's natural detox processes. They make cells more permeable, and they defend against unwanted guests in our bodies. It's an all-around, all-over health. Some of our essential oils can cross the blood-brain barrier, which means that they're so tiny and powerful. They can help support all the body systems, all of them: skeletal, muscular, cardiovascular, digestive, endocrine, nervous, respiratory, lymphatic, urinary, reproductive, and your skin body systems. I didn't even realize we had that many systems. Our body is an amazing thing, and essential oils can support every bit of those. Each of our essential oils is just like every other living thing that carries a scientifically measurable frequency. That makes me think of like some, I don't know why the word frequency makes me think of alien movies or something, but that's not it at all. But scientifically measurable frequency, and everything has it. Essential oils have the capacity to raise your body frequency, and the more you are applying oils on yourself and your family, the higher your body frequency and the potential for better overall health increases. So use them often. We like to say frequency and consistency. Those are the keys to essential oils, because again, there are times when we can get relief to a minor symptom using essential oils. But that's not really what we want to use essential oils for. We want it to increase overall health. So that is just an overall quick glance, because we want to be healthy. We want to have real health, true health. But we need to look at a little bit more than just the symptoms, and we're going to take a look a little bit at hormones, which is the topic of today. So hormones are produced by our endocrine system. Our endocrine system regulates several other body systems, but it includes the pituitary gland, which is kind of considered the master gland of the endocrine system. The thyroid gland, parathyroid glands, adrenal glands, the pancreas, the ovaries, and the testicles, those are parts of the endocrine system. The endocrine system is the collection of glands that produce hormones. Hormones can regulate a lot of things. They regulate so many parts of our body function. Here are a few. They regulate metabolism, growth and development, tissue function, sexual growth, reproduction, sleep, and mood, among other things. So let's break that down just a little bit. See if if this is applicable to you. Now, you can volunteer, you can give you a high five, whatever. Some of these you might not be willing to admit in front of strangers that you've never met. But let's look at some of the things that hormones regulate that we maybe deal with especially as women. So metabolism is the first one. Metabolism plays into our weight, our gains and our losses, how we battle with that. That's something that I believe is in the foods that we eat. I think metabolism, having a healthy metabolism, is something we have to fight for. Because of the food that we eat, I think it has stuff in it. We'll talk about some specific things to try to avoid that might be affecting our hormones, which in turn affect our metabolism. Metabolism also has a lot to deal with energy. What about your energy? How are you full of your energy? No, I'm not all the time. How many commercials do you see that say, are you going to hit that 2 p.m. slump? You know, it's like we just start accepting that as part of life. And we can grab onto life, and we can take control of our life, and we can overcome something that might seem normal to somebody else. We can find a way to help our body to have a better metabolism and have more energy. Growth and development. So this sexual growth, I think, too, are probably most applicable to kids or youth that are in their development stages. And some of you probably have kids that age. Some of you might be on the tail end of that, but I think a lot of us probably have kids that age, and what they're going through at what age they're going through, it might be the same as you, and it might be very different. And I think that that's been a big topic of some research and stuff too, of just like, why is that changing so rapidly? So that might be something to look into if you're a parent, or your kids are like my kids aren't quite to some of those big changes in development, but they're getting ready for it. So prepare myself. Parenthood might change. Some other things that hormones control: reproduction. Reproduction is huge. There are higher amounts of people that are having trouble getting pregnant than years ago. We have all kinds of diseases and problems in pregnancy. I've had a few myself, and so that's huge. Hormones affect all of that. Sleep. Okay, we can admit this. Give me a high five emoji on this if you need more sleep. Yes, I feel like I need more sleep all the time. And so now, as I've prepared for this, I'm going to really check out, what am I doing to take care of myself that might be affecting hormones. Okay, and the last one, maybe you should ask the people around you, but hormones can regulate your mood. Guys, sometimes I don't even realize it myself, and my sweet husband has to kind of nudge me a little bit and say, like, are you okay? So anyway, yeah, Jill, that's me too. High fives all over the place. So that's a big one. And even if we can feel empowered and in better knowing I don't know if I want to say control our mood, but know about that right there would make this video a success, I think. So go research and let us know your best mood boosting process, and including oils and all of that. So, okay. So as you can see, ladies, hormones affect nearly every part of our life. So this is super, super important. There's an amazing doctor online, and she has a website and a Facebook group and all of that stuff. Her name is, I think she pronounces it Edie Wadsworth, or Eddie Wadsworth. I think it's Edie Wadsworth. And she refers often to what she calls estrogen dominance. Now, if you've done any research at all about hormones, estrogen is definitely one that we're just like, oh yeah, women have estrogen. Congratulations, I guess. But estrogen dominance is somewhat of a new term. I think it's been used for maybe 10 to 15 years. But it's where there's not a healthy balance in our system of estrogen and progesterone and all of the, and so some of those hormones. Yep. These are all high fives to needing more sleep. Anyway, so estrogen dominance is something that Dr. Wadsworth talks about. Symptoms, listen to this, you guys. Symptoms are things like fatigue and low sex drive, brain fog, and many, many others. I know some of that has to do with weight as well. So that definitely sounds familiar to me. I don't know if it sounds familiar to any of you, but Dr. Wadsworth would say that there are many things that we can avoid from chemical exposure, to even things as simple as decreasing our exposure to heated plastic by using glass bowls to warm our food. We talk a lot in essential oils. If you're going to drink citrus or any of the other essential oils, we really encourage you to use glass or stainless steel just to prevent that plastic. Plastic can break down. I sometimes joke, like, I think they put plastic in some of our food sometimes, all that fake cheese and all that stuff, but That's one of the simple things. And to redo is use glass bowls, use that kind of stuff to where you're not heating up plastic. But here are a list of what we call the dirty dozen. It's a list that can disrupt your endocrine system and should be avoided, and how we can avoid those health disruptors. Jill? Yes, yes. I think that estrogen dominance, I think we'll look at these dirty dozen and think about how many times we're exposed in just common products that we're used to. Okay, so the very first one, this is dirty dozen, chemicals. Please forgive my pronunciation. I think I have the pronunciation down correctly, but sometimes you hear it one way and you can't get that out of your mind. So BPA is huge. We hear that all over the place. Go fresh when you can. When we're talking about food here, go fresh in other ways too, but go fresh when you can get vegetables and fruit. A lot of cans, I think we had a shift in our society for so long that we were so wanting to preserve our foods that was our priority, and what we didn't realize is the effects of some of the items that were used in order to preserve. And so many of our food cans are lined with BPA. You want to avoid plastics that are marked PC or number 7 for sure. Make those on the top of your list to maybe, if you do things in steps, do that in step 1. We also, like I mentioned, drink a glass bottle or stainless steel, especially when using oils and that kind of stuff. Don't use plastic containers to rewarm your food. Another dirty dozen is dioxin. So if you see that in any of your food or any of your ingredients on things, Altrazine is switch out to some organic products. I think that's some things that they use for pesticides kind of a thing. You can get a filter for your water so that it specifically will say that it can remove Altrazine. You can also use, Young Living has a Thieves Veggie Soak and Spray. And so if organic products aren't available, or if they're outside of your budget, do what you can to use our Veggie Soak or Spray and get a lot of those things off. That will apply to a few of these other ones. The phthalates, it's spelled PHTHALATES, is another dirty dozen. You want to watch your personal care products or make things with oils. Ditch those plastics. So those are going to be things that you can find in some of your products, like in the bathroom, personal care. The perchlorates, you can get a reverse osmosis system. So some of these are in our food, some of these are in our products, some of these are in our water even. But this can also, if you ensure you're getting enough iodine in your diet, so eating iodized salt. Sometimes we like to buy sea salt, but we still need to have that iodized salt too in our system. Fire retardants are made the top dirty dozen list. So you want to be careful. They were even putting those in our pajamas, guys. Which, yeah, I mean, I want to be protected from that, but what is the risk? And that's what we want to know. That's what we as a gatekeeper of our home and our health, we need to realize, okay, these things are fire retardant, or these things keep pests away from eating our food. But what are the side effects? What are the consequences? And then we can decide which way we want to go. So I would encourage you to do that. Lead has been on the dirty dozen list for a really long time. So we want to keep our home clean and well maintained. And then, of course, if you have old paint, that kind of thing, just check that. Arsenic. Arsenic can sometimes be in our water, among other things, so you can get water filters that can lower that level. Mercury is another one. So I know you've heard of mercury in some other things, and I'm not even going to go to that can of worms, but I will let you do your research there. But watch your seafood. Seafood's really good, but you need to watch your seafood on that. So wild caught fish are better than farm raised when it comes to mercury, so you can start looking at that. Okay, PFCs, which would be something like skipping nonstick pans, as well as stain or water resist coatings on clothing and furniture and carpets. Those are some things that you can keep your eyes open for. Organophosphate pesticides. I believe that's how you pronounce that first part. But this again is some pesticide spray, so you can switch to organic stuff or again use our veggie spray. And the glycol ethers. Avoid products with ingredients such as the EGBE and the methazidoglycol, I think. That was one I forgot to look up how to pronounce for sure. Man, here's the thing. If your ingredients are like look like Russian language where you don't even know how to pronounce it, look it up. So, all right, I that took a lot longer than I thought, so I'm going to jump really into, that was the most important part, because you know what, I'm not here to tell you what to do or I'm telling you the why, like why you need to do research and that you do need to find some different options as far as when it goes to hormones. So I'm going to jump in really quick to a few of our favorite Young Living products that can support you well. But before I do that, in case we run short, I don't want to forget this. Here, write these resources down. We have a website, www.ylsearch.com. That is a great resource. If you are a member of Oilers on a Mission, that is an incredible resource. So if you aren't, ask the person that invited you to this group about what it takes to be in that group. We have reference guides, essential oil reference guides. Use them. They're amazing. And the other one is there's a book on Amazon, and it's called Lucy Libido. Or if you look for it, I think it's a longer title, but Lucy Libido, it will come up. Trust me. And that is going to speak to a lot of that sex drive and the hormones of that. And you know, we want to have a great marriage and a great relationship with our husband, and I think that's not the entire part of it, but it's an important part, and it brings us joy and togetherness. And so that's a really good one to look at if that is something that you struggle with. Remember, before we get on to the individual products, frequency and consistency. Just using it 1 or 2 times and hoping that it fixes the symptom is not the way that they're designed. And that's not the way our body is designed. So frequency and consistency, you are the gatekeeper to your health and your home. Okay. The first one that I want to talk about, this is a huge one. This is a big, it affects a lot, can support your thyroid. And it's called Indiflex. Indiflex. Yes, Stacy, the bad part is that the chemicals we're exposed to all over. And that's, before I jump into this, you guys, we can't add stress to our life by trying to get products out. And so we just have to make the best of what we know and make those simple changes, you know, get rid of the plastic, use the veggie soak and spray or buy organic, or some, you know, just do little steps here and there, and don't beat yourself up about it, because stress does a lot to your hormones too. And so we want to be aware of that. Okay, Indiflex. Indiflex helps balance and support a healthy thyroid and can improve metabolic function and amplifies metabolism and vitality. This is an amazing product for thyroid. Yep, switch and ditch. Progessence Plus is another one. I'm going to go through these kind of fast, and I apologize. Apparently I'm more long-winded than I thought I was going to be. Progessence Plus is a blended serum, and it is good to balance. It brings your estrogen and progesterone into balance. And remember the definition of estrogen, oh gosh, I'm losing the name of it, dominance, is that it's out of balance. And so it can be really high, and that's the kind of the thing. And I don't know if you've done any research on blood sugar and insulin, and that's kind of that pendulum swing of life. Like you get high on one and your body knows you should be balanced, and so it tries so hard to get you balanced that it swings you the opposite. And so the amazing thing about oils is they're used to balance and help your body overall. Whereas other things that are treating the symptom is going to be like speed up your metabolism, speed up your, you know, and it doesn't take in consideration, it doesn't heal your entire body. So that's something to keep in mind. Dragon Time is another excellent one for helping with balancing emotions and maybe even some symptoms we have around certain times of the month. So it's a big one. Anyone that is female, this can be helpful too. So you can do baths. You can look up Dragon Time but Dragon Time is definitely one that you might want to put on your list. Clary Sage is another one. Now, Clary Sage is, I'm going to say this, I know this is one of the big ones if you're pregnant. So you definitely want to, if you're pregnant or nursing, you definitely want to look up Clary Sage, because Clary Sage can be used in the delivery process pretty healthily, but you definitely is one that you want to stay away from. So look at your resource guides. If you are pregnant or nursing, make sure to grab a hold of the book Gentle Babies. It's an incredible resource for that. But Clary Sage is extremely helpful in estrogen. It can also help quite a few other things, so hormonal balance and that kind of stuff. So that is a good one to look at. Fennel is another one. That's how I've always pronounced it. It can help with digestive, but helps with balancing menstrual cycles. And so again, these are all oils that, interestingly enough, are going to help us with hormones. And as we have talked about, hormones can affect all kinds of things. Yes, you guys, the Inner Ankles is an awesome place. In our resource guides, they have kind of that reflexology stuff on the bottom of your foot, which I love those too. But Inner Ankles are really good. I've heard a lot of that referred to on a lot of these when you're supporting and trying to balance your hormones. So Fennel. Sensation is another amazing oil. We had a friend of ours that they live quite a ways away, so we haven't had really hardly any face-to-face conversations about Young Living, and I'm assuming that they're hearing, Young Living or essential oil comments from other people. And they made a comment about, like, maybe you can think they're going to work, and so that's why they do. And what's funny is the Sensation oil, we were going to send them a bottle of that and then tell us whether it works or not, because you guys, you need to get a bottle of this and just explore that with your spouse. Okay, Cypress is another one. I'm just going to go real quick, guys. I want to honor your time. Lavender and Panaway are three of our other oils that are awesome. I also, I love Release. I don't know, you guys, if that has, I should have looked, but Release is one of my new favorites. Of course, Valor. So there's so many that you might want to check into. Really quick, before I let you go, there's some amazing supplement support as well. And I know Jill was on here earlier. I know that I've heard her talk about these before, and I think someone was even going to talk about supplements in general. In general. But we have so many. So calcium, our Super Cal is one really good one, and I know they just released kind of a new formulation of some calcium. Indogize is a good one. Thyromin, and a few other ones. So yeah, Tony, make sure you let us know. That would be awesome. I know that several of us ladies have some good progesterone plus or Progessence Plus and Dragon Time testimonies, but definitely love to hear that. So there's some amazing supplement supports. I know even vitamin B can help with a lot of that. So again, I'm glad you guys hung in here on a Saturday morning. I'm going to go get on with my day, as a lot of you know, as being parents, and we have a big full day. But I'm so thankful that you joined us. I'm so thankful to have this Each One Reach One group. It's definitely just another place for some incredible information. Again, you guys, I didn't go to school for this. I don't know all of this. But the research is there, and we just have to put a little bit of time into it, listen to our bodies, and just, again, I think the biggest thing to break away from is just to think about it as overall health. Frequency and consistency and overall health, that we want to make choices to better our bodies. So anyway, happy summer, happy Saturday. I hope you guys have an incredible day. Keep posting comments here. Tag people that you think might be interested in this, at least just to hear the effects of hormones on our bodies, and how that might be something that they're struggling with, and they might be thinking it's something different because they're looking at a symptom or something like that. So yeah, be sure to holler and let us know, and have a great day. Thanks.